Okay, here's a shorter video today. I'm actually in my kitchen on a day off, and I'm just going to show you a little experiment using the G80, and just a simple experiment. I'm in intelligent auto mode, so this is the simplest mode that the camera offers. I'm just going to show you the difference using exposure compensation, which is this front dial here on the G80. So let's have a look at it. Okay, so I've got my G80 here, and I've got a scene. I've got something. I thought I'd choose a scene that's really in bright sunlight. So I've got the model of the motorbike in the sunshine on the windowsill here, and I'm going to. It's in intelligent auto. I haven't changed any settings really. I'm just going to take that shot. And I don't know whether you can see too well on the screen because I've adjusted the exposure compensation on my the camera I'm filming on. I'm just going to change the exposure compensation on the camera I'm filming on, just to bring it back down to normal, and you can probably see better now that the exposure on that motorbike is making the scene darker than it is in real life. So I'm going to use the exposure compensation dial, which is this dial at the front of the camera, and I'm going to turn it from left to right. There we go. Looking at the screen now, you can see it's making the scene brighter. And because it's in bright sunlight, I do want to show that it is in bright sunlight, and it looks better in bright sunlight rather than looking too dark, which is what it does when it's in at 0 on the exposure compensation scale. So I'm just going to increase that by a few clicks. You can also make a scene darker. So let's get this in focus. There we go. I'm going to make the scene darker by turning it the other way. So I'm going to now turn it from right to left. My finger's moving from right to left on the dial. So now it's a darker scene. I'm going to take that picture. And that's how you can adjust the exposure when you're in scenes that are very dark or very bright. You see the square in the middle of the bottom of the screen. It's a black and white square, and it's cut in the middle, straight from corner to corner, with a diagonal. And there's a plus and minus on that. And if I start moving the exposure compensation, you can see a scale starts appearing. Now because I'm moving it left to right, it's positive, so that scale increases. And the scene gets brighter. If I move it in the opposite direction, it gives me the negative half of the scale, and that increases and the scene gets darker. And that's a simple way that you can make your photographs lighter and darker. And the reason why bright subjects appear darker is because the camera and its automatic exposure settings, it tries to reach a point where everything in the scene is metering for 15% grey. That's the ideal according to the camera's logic for each ideal exposure for the scene. And we know that's not going to always be right for the creative people amongst you, so sometimes you may want to adjust that manually yourself, and that's what exposure compensation allows you to do. It gives you that simple control to make the scene lighter or darker. Okay, so if what I've showed you isn't working for you, there might be several reasons for that. Currently I've got the camera set up in IA mode, but it's the intelligent auto mode, the IA plus. So if I just change it to IA and just IA and set that, and then do exactly the same, have my scene in focus and then start turning the front dial, nothing's happening. And that's because I'm just in IA, regular IA mode, and it doesn't work in that mode. That mode won't allow you to change the tone of the colour, but as you can see, it's working now. I've moved it into IA+. So that might be one reason. The other reason that that might not work is because you can set this in the menu. So if I'm going to go to menu, and then I'm going to go down to the this menu with the wrench and the C on it, and it's on page 8 of that menu. So all the way down to page 8, and it's the dial set option, and where it says exposure compensation, if that's set to off, then it won't work. So here's my scene, changing the dial, and nothing's happening. So back to that menu, and let's set it back on. Do exposure compensation, move it to the front dial. You can set it for the back dial, but I like it on the front. So here it is, it's working now. Okay, hopefully that helps.